Hello friends, we are back with our next Magic Treehouse fact tracker. This is Rainforests, the non-fiction companion to Afternoon on the Amazon. So, I'm going to start in the front where it says Dear Readers. And it says, Dear Readers, when we traveled through the Amazon rainforest in Afternoon on the Amazon, we learned that rainforests are amazing places. But we didn't really understand how amazing they are until we got back to Frog Creek. We discovered that lots of things we use every day come from rainforests around the world. We learned that there are more different kinds of plants and animals in rainforests than anywhere else on Earth. And we learned lots of reasons why it's really important to keep the rainforests of the world from being destroyed. How did we learn all these things? We did research. We went to the library and checked out rainforest books. We found rainforest websites on the internet. We rented a video about rainforest animals at our local video store. We took notes and drew pictures. Then we shared what we learned with our parents and teachers and friends. Now we want to share our research with you, so get your notebook, get your backpack, and get ready to explore the incredible world of rainforests. Signed, Jack and Annie. Chapter 1, What is a Rainforest? We talked about this in class already. Rainforests are rich and wonderful worlds. They are filled with tall trees, strange animals, giant bugs, and amazing plants. The largest flowers in the world grow in rainforests. The smallest frogs and the biggest spiders live in rainforests too. There are rainforests all around the world. Each rainforest has different kinds of plants and creatures living in it. But most rainforests are alike in several ways. Number 1. Rainforests get lots of rain. Interesting. That's why we call them rainforests. In most rainforests, it rains nearly every day. Often there are thunderstorms. Nearly all rainforests get over 6 feet of rain per year. Many get more than 16 feet of rain, and some get as much as 30. So there's a little picture that shows you how much rain compared to how tall we are. So that's interesting. Annie says a few rainforests have a short dry season when it doesn't rain at all. They are called seasonal forests. Fact number 2. Rainforests have very high humidity. Humidity is the amount of moisture in the air. Even when it isn't raining, the air in a rainforest feels wet and steamy. Number 3, rainforests are very warm. The temperature in most rainforests stays between 75 and 80 degrees all year long. Number 4, in most rainforests, there isn't much difference between winter and summer. The temperature is warm and the humidity is almost always high. So, rainforests have lots of rain, high humidity, warm temperatures, and weather stays the same. Tropical rainforests. Most rainforests are tropical forests. That means they grow near an imaginary line that runs all the way around the middle of the earth. This line is called the equator. The biggest tropical rainforest is the Amazon rainforest in South America. The Amazon rainforest is bigger than the states of Texas, California, Colorado, Florida, Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, Minnesota, and Alaska combined. There are also large tropical rainforests in Central America, Africa, Asia, New Guinea, Australia, and many islands in the Pacific Ocean. More different kinds of animals, insects, and plants live in tropical rainforests than anywhere else on Earth. So this shows you where there are rainforests around the world, and it shows you where the equator is. So the dark black places, if you look at your key, tells you that all the places that it's black are where the tropical rainforests are. That was a short chapter. Chapter 2, layers of a tropical rainforest. Oh, we talked about this in our book. How many layers are there? A tropical rainforest is like a building with several different floors. The floors are called strata or layers. Each layer is home for different kinds of plants and creatures. The canopy. The tops of the trees in a forest form a layer called the canopy. Remember when the treehouse landed in the story and Annie was trying to jump out of the window? Jack was like, no, because it was so high. Page 22. The canopy is like a big green umbrella over the whole forest. In most tropical rainforests, the canopy is more than 100 feet above the ground. The canopy is noisy. Most of the animals of the rainforest live there. Birds squawk, monkeys chatter, and frogs croak all day long. They feed on canopy leaves, insects, nuts, and fruits. There's a picture on page 22 of a howler monkey, and Annie says you can hear a howler monkey howl from 3 miles away. That guy's loud. Look at his face. Many animals live their whole lives in the canopy without ever touching the ground. In some rainforests, a few trees grow even taller than the canopy trees. These trees are called emergents. The distance from the ground to the top of an emergent can be greater than the height of a 14-story building. On page 23, there is a harpy eagle. And Jack tells us that harpy eagles live in emergent trees in Central and South American rainforests. So the next layer is called the understory. Beneath the canopy and the emergence is a layer called the understory. The understory is dark and shadowy. That's because the leaves of the canopy are so close together that only a tiny bit of sun shines through. The trees in the understory are not very tall. Some are young trees that will grow to become part of the canopy, but most understory trees never grow taller than about 15 feet. Several different kinds of wildcats live in the understory. The understory is also home for all sorts of bats, owls, monkeys, snakes, and lizards. Those are some of the animals that we talked about the other day when I asked you guys what kind of animals live in a rainforest. So I know some of you said jaguars and stuff. This picture on this page is of one of the wild cats. It's called an ocelot. It says ocelots look like beautiful house cats, only twice as big. So they're bigger than if you have a cat at home. And we learned already that the bottom layer of a rainforest is the forest floor. The forest floor is very dark and quiet. The ground is covered with rotting leaves. A few ferns and bushes grow among the giant trunks of the canopy trees. We said that because of the canopy and the sun being above it, that there's literally almost no light at the bottom of the forest floor. The sun just doesn't go down that far. There's a picture on the next page to show you the layers of the rainforest. It says the animals that live on the forest floor are not nearly as noisy as those in the canopy and the understory. Jaguars prowl silently looking for food. Snakes slither over tree roots, and millions of insects and spiders creep through the carpet of dead leaves. Each layer of a rainforest can seem like a separate world. But all the plants and animals in a rainforest are connected. They depend on each other to survive. This is called interdependence. Turn the page to see an example of rainforest interdependence at work. Okay, I will. Here we go. The interdependence of fig trees, fig wasps, monkeys, bats, and birds. So page 28, number 1 says tiny fig wasps lay their eggs in fig tree flowers. The wasps carry pollen from the flowers of other fig trees. Do you know what pollen is? If you don't, Annie's going to tell us. That pollen is the name for the tiny yellow or white grains inside most flowers. Thanks, Annie. So number 2 next, pollen causes the flowers the wasps have laid their eggs in to produce fruits. The fruits are full of fig seeds. Number 3 says monkeys, bats, and birds eat the fruits and spread the seeds to other parts of the forest. I don't know if that monkey is surprised that he has found a fig or if he is in the process of trying to eat it. Either way, his face is a little weird. Next, number 4, new fig trees grow where seeds are dropped. That's it. These are short chapters today. Number 3, chapter number 3, page 31, rainforest plants. More than half of all the different kinds of plants on Earth grow in rainforests. Many rainforest plants have not even been discovered or named yet, but some that we do know about are truly amazing. There are plants that eat insects. I bet you know one of those. There are plants with fruits longer than baseball bats, and there are plants with flowers bigger than bicycle tires. Love it. Page 32, epiphytes. Many rainforest plants are epiphytes. Epiphytes grow on trees or other plants. They have roots that never touch the ground, which is so amazing because we're always taught that roots grow underneath the ground. And that says they have roots that never touch the ground. That's cool. Many rainforest epiphytes grow high on the trees of the canopy where there is plenty of sunlight. One rainforest tree can have more than 50 different kinds of epiphytes growing on it. And then there's a picture of a rainforest orchid. And Jack tells us that nearly all orchids are epiphytes. There are over 20,000 different kinds of orchids in the rainforests of the world. That's beautiful. Page 33, vines. There are also lots of vines in the rainforest canopy and understory. Vines have roots in the ground, but climb up the trunks of trees to reach the sunlight. Many rainforest vines have hard, woody stems. These vines are called lianas. Some lianas have stems so thick that they look like twisted trees. And Annie tells us this liana, if you look at, it's kind of hard to see because it's dark, but this thing that kind of looks like a horseshoe or whatever, says this liana is sometimes called a monkey ladder. Page 34, rainforest lianas often loop from tree to tree. The lianas and branches of the canopy and understory make it easy for monkeys, squirrels, and other animals to travel through the forest. Since it said that some of them rarely touch the ground, there's a picture of an orangutan. Jack says many of the plants that grow in the understory and on the forest floor have huge leaves. And Annie says big leaves help these plants take in as much of the shadowy light as possible, since there's not a lot. Ooh, page 36, fungi or fungi, whatever you want to call it. Some plants don't need sunlight to grow. These plants are called fungi. Annie tells us mushrooms and toadstools are fungi. That's a cool picture of one, shelf fungi. Fungi live off dead plant and animal matter. Many kinds of fungi grow on the trunks of dead trees and on the shady forest floor. Turn the page to learn more about some of our favorite rainforest plants. Tropical pitcher plant. Special parts of these tropical vines grow in the shape of pitchers. You know what a pitcher is? Like a thing that holds water, right? The pitchers collect water when it rains. The pitchers on tropical pitcher plants have a smell that attracts insects. They're also very slippery. Tricky little things. When an insect lands, you can look at the picture, when an insect lands on the rim of one of the pitchers, it slips down into the water inside. The insect drowns, and the pitcher plant uses it for food to help it grow. Sneaky little thing. Jack says tropical pitcher plants grow in Southeast Asia and Australia. And Annie tells us the pitchers on some tropical pitcher plants can hold half a gallon of water. It's a lot to drown in. These are so cute. Kind of hard to say. The giant Rafflesia, that's a fun word, Rafflesia, is the biggest flower in the world. The flower blooms on the forest floor, but the rest of the Rafflesia plant is hidden underground. Some giant Rafflesia flowers are are 3 feet across, and they can weigh up to 25 pounds. That's heavier than a beagle, a dog. Most flowers smell sweet. Ew. But the giant Rafflesia stinks. It smells like rotten meat. Jack says giant Rafflesias grow in the rainforests of Asia. Look how big it is. Smells like rotten meat. Page 42 talks about the sausage tree. Sounds like a tree I'd like to find. Sausage trees have beautiful red flowers. The flowers bloom at sunset and last for only one night. During the night, bats come to feed on the nectar and pollen of the flowers. The flowers hang from long, thin stalks so the bats can visit them easily. That picture's so funny. When the flowers drop off in the morning, huge fruits start to grow in their place. The fruits can grow to be 3 feet long. When they're ripe, the tree looks as if it's covered with giant sausages. Sausage tree. Sausage trees grow in the rainforests of Africa. Thanks, Jack. Oof, look at this next page. The Strangler Fig. A Strangler Fig begins life as a liana, but later becomes a tree. A Strangler Fig first begins to grow high in a canopy tree where monkeys, birds, or bats have dropped seeds. It sends leafy shoots to the top of the tree to soak up sunlight. At the same time, it sends roots down the tree trunk toward the ground. When the roots reach the ground, they grow thicker and stronger. They begin to form a trunk of their own. The new trunk completely surrounds the tree the Strangler Fig has been growing on. Look at the picture. Eventually, the old tree dies and rots away. The Strangler Fig has stolen its place in the forest. That's a really awesome picture. Strangler figs grow in the rainforests of Asia, South America, and Africa. And Jack tells us that strangler figs that grow in Africa are called wonder booms. Wonder booms. All right, that's the end of chapter 3. So we're going to pause before we go on to chapter 4, which is rainforest creatures.